Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Black Inferno, and I'm here bringing you part 3 of my tips and tricks video. Today we're going to be talking about specific gun classes. This is going to be kind of difficult to do because I wanted to do two parts with one with roles and one with weapon classes, and that can kind of change depending on your role. So I'm going to try to do basic weapon classes. However, these are going to look very similar to um, kind of like a run and gun player because that's mainly what I play. So I'm gonna kind of talk to you about certain gun classes. I'll probably delve into certain roles as well, but I'm gonna try to keep that in the next video. So we'll see how well I succeed. Um, these are my classes. Uh, these are for my competitive play when I'm playing eights. I use these two classes let me kind of explain. I use these two classes for respawn, and then these two are my search classes. And then this is kind of both depending on how I'm feeling. Now let me explain each class individually. This class has the Bal 27 with the foregrip, quick draw, and stock. Basic setup for a Bal. It's also got, for perk 1 I use lightweight, and perk 2 fast hands, and then perk 3 toughness and blast suppressor, as well as overclock for the exo, and exo, and I use, for the exo launchers I use stun grenades. I use 2 of them. And this is besides the actual weapon and the attachments, this right here with the perks and the exo ability and the launchers is pretty much the same relatively. Sub exact same with the perks and everything, except for with I use my ASM1. I use advanced rifling, foregrip, and quick draw to get that extra range that I like, and then keep it steady and obviously breaking up the weapon faster. I love the ASM1. That's my primary go-to gun. I rarely use the bow unless that's going to be kind of my role for the game, which, like I said, I'm gonna get into that in the next video. My Overkill class, which has my sniper, and that's if I want to kind of play aggressive as well as passive. That's for like the early picks. I use that a lot in search, pick off someone and then kind of get into the fight. It's a 4-on-3. We got the advantage. Hopefully the game goes a little bit better. It's also handy on one-on-one situations because you can use it at far distances, and then with fast hands, switch really quick if they get up close and personal. So I use the same attachments, and then I end up using variable zoom because I believe that the primary scope, the one you start out with the Moors, if you don't have anything, it's too close up. Like if someone with the variable zoom, the first zoom is very it's actually pretty medium range. You can actually someone can get pretty up and close to you, and you can still effectively fight against them. But that's why I have fast hands in the ASM1 is so things like that don't happen. So now we're going on to the search classes, which the only thing different is just the perks and the exo ability launchers. Same thing with the guns. I have a Bal and I have an ASM1. And with the Bal, the only difference is instead of 2 stun grenades and exo ability, I've switched with exo mute, and then no stuns, which allows me to free up this spot for overcharge, which increases my mute duration, as well as with it doesn't really affect it that much, but with the drop kick, it creates a stun effect, which can be useful, but I don't try not to use that because it kind of restricts my movements when I drew the slam. So I guess that is pretty much it. These are kind of the basic classes that you're going to want to use in competitive. I mainly use these two in pubs with the stuns because I don't usually play search and destroy in pubs, but if you were going to, these would be the classes that you would use. So these are very good classes for just pub stomping, as well as, like I said, the competitive scene. Obviously, you're going to kind of mix up certain classes with certain weapons depending on how you play, but for the most part, this is kind of what you're going to be looking at. So that's really it for this video. Next video, I'm going to be going more in depth with the roles and the certain classes that you're going to be wanting to use for those roles. And that is it. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.